Let's bring in Tim Blair from the Daily Telegraph and Mark Nicholson from Stepmates Studios. They both join me from the great state of Victoria. Good to talk to you, blokes.
Gentlemen.
Things are changing in Victoria because, like any Labor government, the Allan government and old mate Daniel Andrews before her, they boosted the number of public servants, couldn't employ enough public servants, just like the Albanese Labor government federally. But Mark, now they're cutting them. Now she's going to cut public servants. Why this sudden introduction of rational economics?
Mate, it must have been all those machetes that they were collecting, because she's just come out slicing and dicing today, ready to go. I do not believe it 1 minute, Chris, one bit. I think it's just as fake. I don't think they collected any machetes, which means they're not doing any of these cuts. These are just false spendings. They're just not spending. That's all they're not doing. But, apparently this report dropped in June, by the way. So they've had a couple of months just sitting on it, just, marking out the things that they don't want to do. They said that they're going to have $4 billion worth of savings. Apparently the Victorian debt grew by $8 billion since June anyway. So thanks for saving us $4 billion, or saving us, not spending an extra $4 billion. We've already grown by $8 billion. That's how cactus we are. But hopefully that just means that the Allan government's seeing something that we might not be, which is that they might be sniffing a big defeat coming in the Victorian election, because otherwise they wouldn't be doing this. This is not Labor. They don't do this.
Yeah,
they don't announce cuts. Maybe.
Here she is. Have a listen to the Victorian Premier.
The actions and the responses to the Silver Report will deliver $4 billion in savings across the Victorian budget. And these are savings that means that we can continue to deliver those frontline services. The Victorian public sector is a strong professional group of people who come to work committed to deliver the services that the Victorian community rely on.
Yeah, Tim, you've got to agree with Mark. They must be sniffing a possible election defeat next year. It's about a year away, the election, but suddenly she's all tough on crime and now tough on spending as well.
Maybe they're sniffing something else, model airplane glue. But it is interesting to look back at how Labor, when they were expanding the numbers of public servants, it was just as essential. That was what was required. We had to blow the numbers out, because then we could deliver proper frontline services. And now they're reducing them to deliver a high-quality, proper frontline services. So make up your mind, Labor. And it's a bit transparent, and I don't think it's going to work out well for anybody.
Yes, it all lacks a little bit of authenticity and follow through, I would have thought. Now let's go to local politics, and there's a council in New South Wales down there on the Victorian border in the Riverina district, running right up to the Murray, where they've decided to get rid of these rules that enforce people flying the Indigenous flag or having welcomes to country. Now, look, everybody thinks this stuff's overdone, Mark. Now, I'm all for the Indigenous flag where you want to fly it, where it's appropriate. I'm all for welcome to country when it's appropriate, but mandating them and forcing people to do this and having it ad nauseum is driving everyone nuts. So I would have thought that more councils should follow this lead.
Well, otherwise you end up just like the city of Yarra, which don't just have, a couple of flags up. If you go there, they've got about 150 flags up. They're adding more every single week. So it's a slippery slope to the city of Yarra for these guys, and I think they can see that. And this is they're just cutting the virtue signalling budget. That's what they're doing, and that's what their community wants. And we give councils a bit of a hard time every week on this show. We talk about it for not listening to their community, but 98% of their community are sick of virtue signalling to the 2%, and 98% of the people are struggling, and they want to see a reallocation of those resources, not towards meaningless virtue signals, and they want to see the reallocation of those resources to where people are really struggling. And it's not a race-based thing; it's a needs-based thing. I think this is good stuff from that council. It's ballsy, but it's good stuff.
It's ballsy, all right. Now, Tim, I've got to say one thing that cracks me up about this country. Not only can we not just have one flag that we all use, but when you have the Indigenous flag, you've got to have two. There's one from Indigenous people, but then for one particular group of Torres Strait Islanders as well. I mean, honestly, cut it down. One flag or three?
I mean, at least the LGBTQI plus flag, they just put it all on the one piece of fabric. They add a little bit every year. But to what you were saying earlier, Chris, just a minute ago, I think you're right. These welcome to country ceremonies and to display the Indigenous flag, they have more power. Those moments and those ceremonies and those rituals, they have much more power when they're not mandated, when they're not official, when they're not bureaucratic. And I think if they want to actually expand on the platform here, let them develop organically instead of by enforcing them. And you might see people being much more welcoming to, for example, welcome to country ceremonies.
I've got to say, when you mentioned LGBTQI plus, words of wisdom from my youngest the other day. He's 12. He looked at all the LGBTQI plus. He said, but the plus is supposed to be everyone, so why not just have the plus? I think that would be the go.
Absolutely.
Just all of us. Whatever your preferences, we're all in it. Let's go to Chris Bowen, because he never stops amusing us. He was at Tomago announcing a new battery. He gets the hands dirty. Have a look.
Well, we just started construction on the new big battery with AGL at Tomago. It's 500 megawatts, 4 hours. It's a big deal. Just met some of the young apprentices who are going to work on this project. It's part of our energy transition. We just had 50% renewables in the grid in November, second month in a row. Getting on with the job.
There's so much to analyse in that clip, Mark. I mean, we could start off with his trench digging style, not very strong, I would have thought. But also, we're doing this, we've got batteries in, 50% renewables for the first time. The one thing he forgets to go, and prices just keep going up to record levels.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, distraction. But yeah, there's so much. You said there's so much. There's the cleanest high vis I've ever seen. He's got the suit shoes on when he's digging in the shovel. And that shovel, by the way, is apparently made from bits of Liddell. Like which means that he's digging a hole with the closest thing that he'll ever come to that's produced reliable energy, which is ridiculous. And he tells you how much it's going to cost, when it's going to be, and what it's going to achieve, which is just him digging a hole. Like it's a metaphor, but it's also true. That's all he's good for, is just digging himself a hole, old Bowen. It's brilliant. This is keep it coming, Bowen. I've actually turned a corner. I want to see more of this.
Yeah, I think the Labor heavyweights, Tim, will try and shut down his social media account any day now.
Sure.
Well, they did keep him very quiet during the election campaign, which was obviously a good move. I do like, just on his shoveling technique, I can't remember the name of the Australian comedian who observed some time ago that Australians are so lazy that our criminals invented the shallow grave. They couldn't even be bothered properly hiding the evidence. And I think you just saw an example of that. If Chris was digging a grave, you're only going to get down to the ankles.
Yeah, I reckon the cadaver dogs would find it pretty quickly, I reckon. Let's get some Christmas feeling and go to the White House, because there's been a bit of talk about the Christmas decorations. There's a serious aspect to this, because have a look at Jill Biden's effort last time she was in the White House for Christmas. I mean, I saw Cabaret and Toy Story and all sorts of nonsense. There wasn't much Christmas. Now the Trump White House, after Melania got it organised. Tim, you've got to go with Melania's effort, don't you? I mean, Christmas should be Christmas. Forget all the other nonsense.
That Biden Christmas effort, I mean, just imagine having Joe Biden's brain and you're seeing that and just wondering, am I conscious? What medication have I been put on overnight?
Has it happened already?
Yeah. Am I dead? Like what kind of horrible afterlife have I been condemned to? And then you look at the Melania one, and it's note perfect, right down to, I think, the portrait of Donald Trump was his mugshot, which is just a lovely touch if that was the case.
Yeah, there was another portrait in a shot we showed last night, Mark, that was a version of his triumphal let's fight after his ear was shot in Pennsylvania. And someone's, we've all seen the photos, but there's a painting, there it is there, depicting that moment. That's not very Christmassy, but everything else is.
Oh, mate, there was all these blue butterflies and stuff. But watching that video, I just went, yes, Christmas is back, baby. We did it. We're back. Christmas is on. We're back. We can say it's Christmas this time. It's pure class. Like that fever dream that Jill Biden had, that is a legitimate fever dream. That was so scary that the track is slow. It made me, I got chills. But now I'm like in the Christmas spirit. I'm ready. Christmas is back, baby. We're on.
You're so right. It's that simple, right? You can now say Happy Christmas. That's what it's saying. It's about the tradition. It's about the religion. It's about Christmas. You don't have to go Happy Holidays, everybody.
No, it's got to be, you've got to be fight for Christmas. That's what we're going to do.
Fight. Yeah, that's about 4 o'clock Christmas afternoon. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll catch up with you next week.